You're now listening to the Engage the Rockies podcast, your go-to podcast for local and state issues concerning Colorado.
Hello, Rockies. This is Sarah Jane Maroney, your host, and welcome to our week in review for the third week of June in 2025. First up, the daughter of State Representative Niketa Ricks, Nefertari Lockley, 29, was arrested on 6 felony charges, including second-degree attempted murder, assault with a deadly weapon, and felony menacing after allegedly stabbing a woman. And her first court hearing on these charges will be on Wednesday morning. And according to the Colorado Bureau of Investigation records, she was arrested for second-degree assault in Johnstown in 2018, but that charge was dismissed. And she was arrested in 2022 and 2023 in Houston for criminal trespass and fraud. And her bail was set at $100,000. As of Tuesday afternoon, Safeway employees in Colorado are going to be striking. Workers at 6 stores in Grand Junction, Pueblo, Estes Park, Castle Rock, Littleton, and Fountain are going on strike. Safeway workers across Colorado, including Colorado Springs, voted to authorize the strike in the past several weeks. It's unclear exactly how long this will last and which stores. This is after 7 months of contract negotiations have failed to deliver a deal that the union would accept, and the contract expired in January. The union is seeking chronic understaffing fixes, better wages, and health and pension benefits. You'll know that we previously reported that King Soopers workers were on strike as well, but they reached a deal to pause labor actions for 100 days, even though their contract has still not been signed yet. Earlier in May, the Denver mayor, Mike Johnston, announced that there was a projected $50 million deficit for this year's budget and a $200 million budget deficit for next year. And on Wednesday, city leaders said that there are absolutely going to be layoffs and that they are substantial, said one city employment attorney. And there is a new proposed rule to evaluate employees based on performance ratings, skills, abilities, and length of service, and not simply based on length of service. But the union didn't like those proposed changes. And it still remains to be seen how many city workers are actually going to be laid off, but there is a lot more talk about this currently. A little bit closer to home, in the Lewis-Palmer District, D38, their board has approved the construction plans for a new homeschool center. And in the new design, a hallway would connect 2 modular structures under a single roof with separate bathrooms for students and staff, and the total construction costs will come to $1.9 million. Obviously, however, there are lots and lots of parents choosing to homeschool, and D38 is wanting to do a homeschool enrichment academy to support those parents. And this was approved at their 16th of June meeting. On Wednesday, the United States Supreme Court upheld laws in 27 states that ban gender-affirming medical care for transgender minors on a vote of 6-3. And there's a group in Colorado called ProtectKidsColorado.org who are circulating a petition to get a question onto the ballot about this and whether these laws should be changed in Colorado, because Colorado is not one of the 27 states. Said that it's the court's job to ensure that those laws that were passed do not violate the Constitution. And he concluded that they don't, and therefore it leaves the people, their elected representatives, and the democratic process to decide in each state how that should go. And where Colorado comes in is that we don't have those laws. So there is a petition currently out now that you can sign and volunteer to help carry to try and get this on as a ballot initiative. You'll recall that Commissioner Cami Bremer has stepped down and there is a vacancy to fill. And congratulations to Lauren Nelson, who happens to be on the D11 school board, as she will now be serving as the District 5 commissioner. Former GOP leader, Chair Vicki Tompkins, had put her name forth for the commissioner position, and current chair of the vacancy committee said that the vote was 20-20. among attendees of this vacancy committee. They had to vote again, and finally, on the fourth try, Lauren Nelson garnered the 21 votes to win the seat. Lauren was kind enough to be a prominent speaker at our State of Education event in February, and we wish her the best. Earlier this week, Governor Polis announced a dashboard to track funds that are at risk or have already been cut from the Trump administration. This includes $76 million in federal funding and another $56 million that is at risk. In a joint press release, House Minority Leader Rose Pugliese of Colorado Springs and Assistant Minority Leader Ty Winter of Trinidad said they saw it coming. In fact, House Minority Leader Pugliese is quoted as saying, House Republican leadership identified numerous bills that risked violating federal law and jeopardized critical funding. House Minority Leader Pugliese is quoted as saying, House Republican leadership identified numerous bills that risked violating federal law and jeopardizing critical funding. Despite these warnings, the governor moved forward with signing legislation knowing the risk to Colorado's fiscal health. Included is Senate Bill 276, which is limiting federal immigration authorities' access to certain buildings like schools and churches, and prohibits law enforcement from disclosing information about an inmate's immigration status to federal authorities. And that bill was signed into law last month. And you'll be aware of the hot debate about whether Colorado is a sanctuary state and whether Denver is a sanctuary city. During the debate on a bill in May, Representative Caldwell said, quote, we're going to lose money on this because it is the federal government's role to enforce federal immigration. And what we are trying to do is we are trying to roadblock that for them, end quote. The summation is that Governor Polis cannot cry foul because he was warned by the House Republicans. And finally, the 4th Judicial District Attorney's Office announced on Wednesday that a September 2024 police shooting that killed 29-year-old Tyler Jacob Benn was justified, in part because the officer didn't have any room to take cover as the suspect pulled out a firearm in an open store, which puts the public at danger. And so the officer that shot will not face any prosecution. After he was shot, a loaded 9mm handgun with a defaced serial number was found on him, according to court documents. Luckily, no one else was injured. And from the police announcing themselves to the shots being fired, the whole interaction took 8 seconds based on the body cam footage. And those are the top stories for the 3rd week of June in 2025. Please remember to like and subscribe. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for listening to the Engage the Rockies podcast, your go-to podcast for local and state issues concerning Colorado.